Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Upper Speeds live class. We're going to go ahead and get started with some common words, and they all start with initial T, initial K, or initial D. All right, so I'm going to mute everyone. Here we go. Cot, dot, tot. Tin, kin, din. Tam, cam, dam. Care, dare, tear. Dub, tub, cub. Cat, dig, tag. Dog, kick, toss. Tap, dot, kill. Kiss, tan, dole. Tad, kid, done. Dame, tine, cod. Cop, tip, dip, tip. Cab, tell, dug. Cap, top, dill. Done, car, tar. Kite, deed, tight. Keep, dice, tied. Dime, tie, keen. Dole, coat, tool. Cane, team, deep. Date, coal, tape. Die, code, tire. Cope, dial, tile. Case, type, dab. Dine, cape, time. All right. Now I've got some consonant compounds that start with initial TW, TR, FR, FL, BL, BR, ST, SK. Here are your words. I'm just stating this. All right. Here we go. Free, flap, frame, flight, twice try, twerp, true, bless, brick, blow, bruise, stop, scar, skill, skid, twin, trot, tweed, trip, fruit, float, frill, fly, black, broom, bluff, braid, stuff, skull, stick, score, twain, tree, twist, trade, frog, fluff, fry, flood, blade, broil, blight, breed, step, sky, stab, scab, tweak, tribe, twig, trek, fret, flag, fright, flee, blab, brave, bloat, bride, steer, scoop, star, skate, twine, train, tweet, trial, freak, flip, fraud, flame, blare, brawn, block, brim, steam, skill, stay, scale, twill, tweak, tweeze, trap, twill, trick, frock, flit, frail, flare, bleed, brain, bliss, breeze, stone, scour, state, skin. Now I've got some first names, and I'm going to give the name and spell them. All right, here we go. Blake, B-L-A-K-E. Diane, D-I-A-N-E. Cecil, C-E-C-I-L. Helen, H-E-L-E-N. Clyde, C-L-Y-D-E. Patty, P-A-T-T-Y. Linda, L-I-N-D-A. Perry, P-E-R-R-Y. Steve, S-T-E-V-E. Kathy, C-A-T-H-Y. Robin, R-O-B-I-N. Ellen, E-L-L-E-N. Betty, B-E-T-T-Y. Bruce, B-R-U-C-E. Alvin, A-L-V-I-N. Susan, S-U-S-A-N. S-U-S-A-N. Karen, K-A-R-E-N. Tanya, T-O-N-Y-A. Robin, R-O-B-I-N. Janet, J-A-N-E-T. Peter, P-E-T-E-R. Josie, J-O-S-I-E. Jenny, J-E-N-N-Y. Kevin, K-E-V-I-N. Peggy, P-E-G-G-Y. Roger, R-O-G-E-R. Derek, D-E-R-E-K. Nancy, N-A-N-C-Y. Marty, M-A-R-T-Y. Frank, F-R-A-N-K. Jesse, J-E-S-S-I-E. Alice, A-L-I-C-E. Calvin, C-A-L-V-I-N. Candy, C-A-N-D-Y. Brian, Brian, Larry, Larry, Holly, Holly, Terry, Terry, Laura, Laura, Danny, Danny, Paula, Paula, Edgar, Edgar, Daryl, Daryl, Sandy, Sandy, Wanda, Wanda, and Daisy, Daisy. All right, now common phrases that we often hear, so you're going to phrase as much as possible. Here we go. Before the, during the, for the, from the, have the, if the, in the, into the, is that the, is the, of the, on the, off the, that the, through the, until the, what the, when the, where the, whether the, which the, will the, with the, you are the, there are, there can, there could, there had, there have been, there is, there shall, there should, there was, there were, there will, there would, they are, they believe, they believed, they can, they cannot, they could, they ever, they feel, they felt, they have been, they have believed, they recall. All right, now I've got some email addresses. Let me go over the internet briefs. Okay, we've got www. Which is WAUT.com is DAUM, DOM. Or you can do .com is DWOM. I personally like DOM, DAUM. .net, DWET. .gov, DWOF. .org, DWORG. @ is AT with the flag. / is FASH, bash. And dot, we say dot, even if it's in the middle of the email, it's DOT with the flag. Okay. All right. Here we go. www.freelancekillers.com, www.online.wellsfargo.com, www.google.com, www.ncra.org, www.craigslist.org, www.edd.ca.gov / unemployment, www.fantasticgrades.com, shop at sbcglobal.net, Sheila Evans at gmail.com, Frank Hartford at yahoo.com, Raymond Thomas at hotmail.com, Stephen Gonzalez at msn.com, Cynthia Waters at AOL.com, Deborah Lemon at charter.net. Now there's one more page I'm going to give you. Here we go. www.google.com, www.youtube.com, www.facebook.com, www.merriam-webster.com, www.yahoo.com, www.amazon.com, www.wikipedia.org, www.reddit.com, www.google.com, www.twitter.com, www.live.com, www.toyota.com, www.tmall.com, www.bing.com, www.instagram.com, www.weibo.com, www.linkedin.com, www.google.it.com, www.msn.com, www.ebay.com, www.microsoft.com. All right. There is more, but I'm going to stop there and we'll finish the rest of those on Friday. Okay, let's do some literary. I've got an article here on different car reviews. I'm going to start this at, actually, I'll read this at 180. Here we go. The first one is on the Jaguar XE20D R Sport. Here we go. The Jaguar's first small sedan in nearly a decade, the all-new XE joins its larger siblings, the XF and XJ, for 2017. There's no mistaking the family resemblance. The XE looks like a smaller version of the other two, with handsome, if somewhat generic, lines. Inside, the XE eschews the English drawing room decor of previous Jag sedans for a modern, uncluttered design. Backseat room is tight, but the front seats are comfortable and offer good support for sporty driving. Indeed, sporty driving is the XE's forte with any of the three engine choices, a supercharged V6, a turbocharged inline-4, or a four-cylinder diesel. Though the diesel produces only 180 horsepower, it makes a huge torque, 318 foot-pounds for quick launches, and yields an impressive 42 miles per gallon on the highway. Moreover, diesel fuel is now less costly than the premium gas required by the other engines. The diesel's downside is that an anti-pollution additive must be replenished every 6,000 miles. A lightweight aluminum body shell and near 50-50 fore-aft weight distribution make the little Jag tossable and well balanced on a twisty road. The steering effort is light but has a natural feel. When fully optioned with the V6 and the all-wheel drive, the XE's price can reach an eye-watering $60 large, though the rear-wheel drive base model is a reasonable $37,375. All XEs come with an especially generous 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty that includes free scheduled maintenance. Now, here's the Audi A4 2.0 Turbo Quattro S Tronic. All right. I'm just dating this. All right, here we go. Nobody except an Audi expert will notice the subtle changes to the 2018 A4 sheet metal, though nearly all of it has changed. As with the 4 generations of the A4s that preceded it, the boxy styling of the latest A4 doesn't turn any heads. Instead, excitement lies beneath its skin. Fling the A4 into a sweeping curve, and it grabs the tarmac like a puppy with a tug toy. Its grip is uncanny, especially with the optional adaptive suspension. The steering is just right, not too heavy, not too light. Acceleration from the optional 252 horsepower turbo 4-cylinder engine and standard dual clutch 7-speed automatic can blur the trees. Yet despite such performance, the car is extremely quiet. When cruising, minimal road or engine noise enters the cabin, and the suspension manages to provide the superlative handling with no sacrifice to ride comfort. In the usual Audi fashion, the cabin features quality materials and impeccable fit and finish. The front seats are reasonably accommodating, the smallish rear seat less so. The A4 brims with gizmos, some driver distracting Apple or Android phone interface Wi-Fi hotspots, and others. Accident avoiding adaptive cruise control that can call the, excuse me, let me say that again. Adaptive cruise control can haul the car to a stop in traffic. Audi's innovative virtual cockpit, a digital display in front of the steering wheel, transitions from traditional instrument cluster to navigation map, making the information easy to see. The price tag, with front wheel drive and the standard 190 horsepower turbo 4-cylinder engine, the A4 starts at $35,850, but can jump to well over $50,000 with Quattro, a all-wheel drive, and extras. All right, our last one. This is on the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo has a 107-year history, but is virtually unknown to the U.S. motorist of millennial age or younger. The Italian automaker retreated from the American market in 1995. In 2015, Alfa tested the waters here with its high-strung 4C Spider and coupe sports cars. Now it jumps in with the sedan. Developed from scratch, the car borrows nothing from Fiat or Chrysler vehicles. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles is Alfa's parent company. Except for Alfa's traditional triangular grille, the Alfa style resembles BMW's iconic 3 Series. The interior is distinctive with an especially well-integrated infotainment screen and a Formula One inspired ignition push button mounted on the steering wheel. Controls are generally less fussy than those of German cars, though the cabin's fit and finish aren't quite up to the standards. The back seat and the trunk size are par for the course as compact sedans go. It's a perfect fit when it comes to the mechanicals. A 280 horsepower turbo 4 makes the car plenty quick with a 0 to 60 mile per hour time of about 5 seconds. A bi-turbo V6 derived from the Ferrari V8, which produces a monstrous 505 horsepower, is also available. As for driving dynamics, the saucy sedan can rip through curves with abandon, yet it remains relaxed and comfy on the highway. The super hot all-wheel drive V6 Quad edition is pricey at around $74,000, though hardcore driving enthusiasts will find it worth the money. Fortunately, the rear-wheel drive 4-cylinder sedan starts at a more accessible price at $38,990 and comes nicely equipped with such standard features as leather upholstery, upgraded headlights, power front seats, and parking sensors. All right. Now, I've got some legal opinion for you. Okay. You're going to hear Clark Pearson, illness, premeditate, aforethought, voluntary, antisocial, imposed, society, maturely, intervening, capacity, diminished, intoxication, manslaughter, gravity, harbored, contemplated. Okay, and I'm going to read this at 200. How are we doing on time? Good. 5:22. All right, here we go. We must determine if diminished capacity existed. A careful examination of the evidence and all of the intervening circumstances is necessary. If you find from the evidence at hand that at the time of the alleged crime, the defendant, Clark Pearson, had substantially reduced mental capacity, whether it was caused by mental illness, mental defect, intoxication, drugs, or any other cause, you must consider what effect, if there was any, this diminished capacity had on Clark Pearson's ability to form any of the specific mental states that are necessary elements of murder and voluntary manslaughter. If you do find that Clark Pearson's mental capacity was diminished to any extent where you have a reasonable doubt whether he did maturely and reasonably premeditate or deliberate and consciously reflect upon the gravity of the contemplated act or form an intent to kill, you cannot find him guilty of deliberate and premeditated murder in the first degree. Therefore, if you do find that the defendant's mental capacity was diminished to the extent that you have even the slightest reasonable doubt whether he was able to form the mental states constituting either express or implied malice aforethought, you cannot find him guilty of murder of either the first or the second degree. Furthermore, if you have any reasonable doubt whether he was able to form an intention unlawfully to kill a human being, or as to whether he was aware of the laws of society imposed on him not to commit acts which involve the risk of grave bodily injury or death, or whether he did act despite that awareness, you cannot find that he had harbored and expressed malice. Furthermore, if you have a reasonable doubt whether Mr. Pearson's acts were done for an obvious antisocial purpose, or whether he was aware of the duty society imposes on him not to commit acts which involve the risk of grave bodily injury or death, or whether he did act despite this awareness, you cannot find that he harbored an unqualified implied malice. If you find that as a result of any mental illness, mental defect, drugs, or intoxication, Mr. Pearson's mental capacity was diminished to the extent that he neither harbored a malice aforethought nor had an intent to kill at the time the alleged crime was committed, then either murder or voluntary manslaughter is not a possibility. All right. Now I've got one more that I want to give you. This is the subject here is attorney and client. All right. Here we go. Sure. My box is plugged in here. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, an attorney at law, when retained by another, is entitled to fair and reasonable compensation for the professional services rendered. There is no fixed standard by which the value of the services of an attorney can be determined. His value and reasonable price necessarily vary with the magnitude and importance of the particular case, the degree of responsibility attaching to the work performed, the difficulty of the matters involved, the time consumed, and the benefits derived. In ascertaining the value of such services, you will exercise your sound discretion and judgment and allow such reasonable amount as you believe constitutes a just and fair compensation for the services rendered, not to exceed the sum of $30,000. In determining the value of the services rendered, you may take into consideration the fact that at the time of undertaking the work, the attorneys bound themselves to make no charge for their services if they failed to secure beneficial results. The fact that these services were to be rendered on a contingent fee basis, which means that no charge was to be made unless beneficial results were obtained for the defendant, should be considered by you in determining the value of the services. It is customary for attorneys to charge more when they undertake to render professional services on a contingent fee basis, because under such a contract, no charge can be made unless beneficial results are obtained, no matter how much actual work may have been performed. You are instructed that the mere fact, if it be a fact, that the litigation did not result to such advantage to defendant as he may have hoped it would, does not preclude the right of the plaintiffs to recover in this action. If the defendant employed the plaintiffs to prosecute the suit in question, the plaintiffs are entitled to be paid for their services. All right. Now, we're going to do some Q&A. And looks like defense is questioning. I'm going to read this one at 180 so we can kind of get warmed up with our Q&A and the light board. Okay. All right, here we go. Are you familiar with my client's operation? I'm familiar with the trash chutes installed in the park. Were you present at the time they were installed? No, I was not. Had you received any type of complaints about the way that the trash chutes were operating at the time that you arrived? At the time I arrived, there was no one living there, so there were no complaints at the beginning. When was the first time you were made aware of any type of complaints with the operation of the trash chutes when you were there? October or November? How were you made aware of it? There were other complaints. What type of complaints were being made to you at that time? The doors were extremely hard to open. Once opened, they couldn't get them closed. From my standpoint, I couldn't adjust them to eliminate the problems. Were there any other complaints you noted from the complaints brought up by the homeowners? That was not. Well, that was it. Were the foot pedals operational? In some cases they were, and in some cases they weren't. Could you be more specific about how this trash chute opens? You have a foot pedal on the floor. It's simply activated by pushing on the foot pedal. Approximately how many of these trash chute services or devices did the homeowners have in the installation when you arrived? They had 4 buildings, so we had 12. Did they all operate under the same principle? That's correct. Did you also note that each and every one of them had problems with the operation of the foot pedal? I'd say 50% of them had problems. Had you had any kind of experiment or experience with this kind of problem before you becoming associated with this project? No. Therefore, you could not qualify as an expert in the field in terms of installation of this type of unit. Is that correct? That's right. When you did become aware of these problems that you mentioned, did you get in touch with my client? I brought it to the attention of the people at the construction company. At some point in time, did representatives come out to the premises? I think they did. At approximately what period of time? I don't remember. Would it be a short period of time following your becoming affiliated with the Homeowners Association? Probably a year or so. Were you present at the time they arrived? I don't remember walking through the property with them, no. Did you ever notice the work being done during the period of time that they came out to repair the problem? Some work was done in the first 4 buildings. What type of work were you aware of that was done? Well, they did some additional sheet metal work, that type of thing. Sheet metal work in what respect? Can you explain what you mean? Well, some of the insides of the chutes were damaged and they replaced some of the items. How long a period of time did it take for them to complete their operation? I don't really remember. Well, was it more than 1 week? I think that they were. I think a couple of weeks. Okay, did every one of the trash chutes need some type of repair or adjustment? At that particular time, I really can't say. I don't remember. Right now, we have several of them that we are having problems with. So, do you have any opinion as to whether or not these trash chute mechanisms were improperly installed? You can't see the way they were installed, but they are behind a wall. I just got a paper cut. All right. Let's do some Q&A. All right, we're going to switch transcripts. Okay. All right, this is a depot transcript that we've been working on. We might even, I think we will finish it today. Looks like. This is going to be defense questioning. Here we go. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to start at 200 and I will work my way to 225. Okay. Now, did you go to anybody else for your shoulder, your neck, your back? I asked to be referred to Dr. Evans, who I don't have anymore. They have a Dr. Whitehurst with me now. They referred me to a neurologist and he referred me to one there, and they would not take the case because they do not get mixed up in the lawsuits. I was told that adamantly. They will continue to treat me for blood pressure, and they did not get mixed up in that lawsuit. So after the first, let's say month and a half after the accident, how long was it before you were seen by a doctor in connection with your head, your neck, and your shoulder? Not until a month or so ago when I went to Dr. Rose, meaning September of 2012. Possibly. It could have been earlier though, because I remember it was quite hot when I went over there. How do you get to Dr. Rose's office? Does somebody drive you? Well, my brother has to take me, yes. Now, you've been in the Inland Valley for a long time. Can you describe for me the roads that you go on to get to Dr. Rose's office? We mostly go on the freeway, and then when we get off of the freeway, I don't know the street. It's a former main boulevard, I think, or something. We go a few blocks on that and turn right to, it's in the industrial area. That's all I know. Do you think it's out near Arlington, or is it over near San Bernardino? No, it's this side of Riverside. I'd say it's up in possibly the northeast part of Riverside. Could it be off maybe Spruce Street? Yes, I think so. Or Iowa, or one of those? Yes. Has Dr. Rose prescribed any medication for you? No. Other than the blood pressure medication, do you take any medications of any kind? No. And here I'm including non-prescription. Do you take any aspirin or any Tylenol? No. Any pain medication of any kind? No. That's probably smart. I try to avoid as much medication as I possibly can. I'm not Christian Science either, but I just try to avoid it. I'm a doctor's son, and I try to avoid it as well. Use what God gave you. When is your next appointment to see Dr. Rose? December the 4th. Has Dr. Rose indicated to you what his plan for your care is? Yes, he wants me to see an internist, which is coming up November the 11th at 1:30. After that, I have another consultation with Dr. Rose, December the 4th. They've taken blood tests also. I forgot. The last time I was over there, they took blood tests. And when I go back to the county hospital a week before this time, I have to have a cholesterol level test and blood pressure or blood test. Has anyone ever described or diagnosed you as having arthritis? Yes. Who was that? Well, throughout the years, I really can't recall. Dr. Fenton, possibly, who is deceased now, Dr. Melvin Fenton. The reason I ask is I notice in your hands the sign of arthritis. Is that correct? Yes. Did Dr. Fenton indicate to you what type of arthritis you have? Did he say rheumatoid arthritis or gouty arthritis? They haven't decided yet what type, as far as I know. Is that part of what the blood test is for? I believe so. I don't know. They don't really tell you until you go in for the consultation, which I haven't had. Do you have any problems in your feet from arthritis? No, not especially. With your knees or ankles? No, just mainly your upper extremities, mainly my hands, and that doesn't bother me too much. I still have a good grip on everything, but I refuse to let anything like that detour, or I refuse let me say that again, but I refuse to let anything like that detour me. I just keep, exercising and doing what I can to prevent it from getting worse. Other than Dr. Fenton, have you ever been told by any other medical doctor that you have arthritis? Other than Dr. Fenton? Yes, ma'am. There's a possibility a Dr. Goodman in San Fernando Valley suggested it one time when I was living there. Do you know what city Dr. Goodman's office is in? At that time, it was on Ventura Boulevard. I don't recall the number. Do you know Dr. Goodman's first name or initial? Adrian. Thank you, ma'am. I don't believe I have any further questions. Okay, I have no questions. May we stipulate to relieve the court reporter of her duties under the code, that the original transcript be sent to counsel for Mrs. Watts, that she will be given the opportunity to review it, make any changes and corrections, and that she will then sign it under penalty of perjury, and that the original will then be sent back to my office with safekeeping, and that unless the above is compiled with, a certified copy may be used for all purposes. Do you want to keep the original? Well, rather than you have to notify me of all the changes, your own client, that's normally what I do. I would, just to clarify, because I normally don't do it this way, but that's fine. They will send the original to me. I will send it to my client. At this point, my client will send it back to me, and then I'll see it and send it off to you. Yes, sir. And what did we say about a copy being used? A certified copy may be used for all purposes. Okay, so stipulated. All right, let's switch transcripts. All right, so let's see who's questioning with this one. This is the gang case. Looks like plaintiff. And let's see here. Yeah, it looks like the court comes in. It's a court case. So you're going to hear from the court and defense. I did work my way up to 200 in that last one, but I didn't get to 225. So I'll start here with 200, but I'm going to go into 225 real quick. Okay. All right. All right, let's see. Here we go. Some of these pages are stuck together. Okay. When you say you went head to head, what does that mean? Well, like I was trying to fight the guy. Did the guy, the male that came in through the front door, rush you? No, he didn't rush me at all. He sped walked. So he walked quickly in your direction? Yeah. Okay, and so that's when we started going at it, like trying to fight. Then what happened? I picked him up, like he put all of his weight over me, dropped me on the floor, and got me in a headlock, and that's it. And then they started, I heard the other guy come in. That's when, because they put me in like a blanket or something like that. Who put you in a blanket? Not a blanket, the curtains. The what? The ribbon that goes on the curtains. Okay, are you talking about some type of tie that's used to hold the curtains back? Yeah, they try to put it over my face so I couldn't see nothing. And I saw Jeannie going through. She was wearing all black and she had a sweater with Adidas, but it has a weed design on the back of the sweater. When you say a weed design, can you describe what that is? Well, the weed, like the flower, the sign of it. Are you talking about a marijuana leaf? Yes. The front of the sweatshirt has the Adidas logo. Yeah, but still with I don't remember exactly where it had the marijuana leaf on it too, on the front. So the marijuana was on the front and on the back? Yes, it was pretty big. So at the time you saw Jeannie Ramirez in your house, how many people besides your friends did you see? Well, they ran out. Actually, they ran out. Jose got hit. I think it was a 2x4 on the back of his head, and his cousin tried to fight one of them off, and that's what Jose told me. So when you're in the house, you describe people trying to put something over your head? Yeah, like they could cover my face. How many people were trying to do that to you? Well, it was 2 people, 2 males. Okay, how would you describe those male individuals? Well, one of them, I only saw one of them. He was light-skinned. He was the second person. He was talking like not Spanish, but with the thick voice. And then he said, "Where are you from?" And then he said, "East Side Margarita, ESM." So it's like, okay, what happened after they were trying to put the item around your head? I couldn't fight back all of the way because they had put a zip tie on. That's when I couldn't move. They put the zip ties where? On my hand. Where on your hands? Like right here on both. Were your 2 wrists bound together with the zip tie? I think it was 2 of them or 1. I saw 2 of them. I don't remember. Were your wrists bound together like this, in this manner? Yeah. Yes? Yes. Could you show us how your wrists were bound together? Well, I was laying down like this, laying down on the floor. So you put both of your hands behind your back? Yeah. Are you saying that when your wrists were bound together, they were behind your back? Yes. What happened after they bound your wrists behind your back? Well, they were telling me, "Oh, where is the money?" I was like, "I don't have any money." I was like telling them, and they said, "Oh, where's the money?" They were screaming at me, and one of them started kicked me on the side of the head, and then he grabbed a stick and he was hitting me on my back too. Could you see the individual that was kicking you? No, he was wearing some white shoes, Nikes, I think. That's what he was wearing. That's what I saw. Could you see the individual that was hitting you with the stick? No. Do you know how many times you were kicked? I think like more than 4 times. I know that for a fact. Do you know how many times you were hit with the stick? Like 3 times. Where on your body were you hit with the stick? Well, on my back, the whole entire back. Where on your body were you kicked? Right here on this side. Would that be on your right side? Left side. Oh, I'm sorry. So on your left side. Okay, continue, counsel. You said right here you were indicating towards your rib cage. Yeah, that's where I got kicked. Okay, so after you were kicked and after you were hit with the stick, then what happened? Well, then that's when they started. They went and some of these pages are stuck together. through the rooms, and all three of the rooms in the houses, they broke the doors, each one, and they took a PS2, a 360, a cell phone, some speakers, and they even took the stereo that was Jeannie Ramirez's with the speakers they took. What else? Oh, and they took my laptop. What kind of laptop was it? It was an HP. Did they take any other items? Oh, and the tools. What type of tools? Mechanic tools for the mechanic. Do you know specifically what tools they were? Well, there are all kinds of tools in there. There was a whole bag where they took. Anything else that was taken? That's about it. When you said they were going in the rooms of the house, who did you mean by they? Well, the guy who kicked me on my left side, he was one of them who went in, but there was another guy. I don't know who had the thick voice. He was kicking me still, and he was telling me not to move. If not, he was going to kill me. And where did you see Jeannie Ramirez during that time? When everything started, she walked through where the table is towards the rooms. Did you see her go into any of the rooms? No, I just saw her. She went in through the first door, and from there it goes into the other rooms. So is it your testimony that you saw her go in the direction of where the other rooms were located in the house? Yes. Did you know either of the males that came into your residence as having a relationship with Jeannie Ramirez? No. Okay, just one more thing. Objection, Your Honor. No question pending. Sustained. Do you remember talking to the police after this incident occurred? Yes. Did you tell the police that one of your male persons that entered your house was Jeannie's boyfriend? No. Did Jeannie ever say anything to you during the course of the incident? I think she did, told me, I forgot what she told me. Okay, you remember she said something to you though? Yeah. When did that happen? Like at the beginning before I got kicked and all of that stuff. Were you standing up when Jeannie made the statement, the statement to you? No. Where were you located physically? On the ground next to the sofa. Who else was in the room when Jeannie made the statement to you? I think it was the guy who had me hold down because he was holding me down. One of them, the guy, he had me held down on the ground. Yes. He was holding you on the ground? Yeah. Do you remember, even if you don't remember exactly what Jeannie told you, do you remember what she was talking about when she was making the statement to you? She said something about that. She told me that something about her homies. I told you something like that. She said something like that. I told you. If I don't pay her, honestly, I don't remember. Do you remember telling the police about the statement that Jeannie made to you? No. Do you remember telling a detective about the statement that Jeannie made to you? I don't think I did. Did you have any injuries from the assault on you? Yes, my back hurts. I had bruises. Before that, I had a car accident. So when I got hit and when I got kicked on this side, all that stuff was like, swollen. I couldn't move at all for like 2 weeks. So you had been in a car accident prior to the beating? No. Like before that? Correct. Before that happened, yes, I had a car accident. It's been a while. I had the car accident, but when they kicked me, like my back, it was already messed up from the car accident. So when they were kicking me and they were hitting me with the stick, like my pain, it came back like really bad. Okay, so it made your prior injury worse? Yes. Did you have to seek any medical treatment for my back? Yeah. What did you do in that regard? Oh no, actually I didn't do nothing because I was like, for whatever. If I'm already messed up, what's the point of doing it? Okay, so did you not go to the doctor? No, because even the officer said you should go, and I said, no, So the items that were taken from you on that day during the attack, did you ever get any of those items back? Yes, I did. When did that occur? I don't remember the day when I got them back, but I got most of my stuff. One thing is I didn't get was my PS2 and the 360 and my cell phone. Those are the three things that I never got back. I never saw them. Do you remember being shown a group of photos by a detective during the investigation? Yes. Do you remember if you were able to identify any one of the male suspects when you were shown the different photos? Yes, I did, but it's like right now, I don't know. It's weird. What do you mean by that? Well, that was like, right now, I might not recognize him again. That's what I mean. Do you see anyone in court today that you recognize as one of the male individuals that attacked you that night? It would be hard to say. Well, do you or don't you? No, you don't. No. Are you nervous about testifying today, Mr. Gomez? Yes, I am. And why is that? Because I'm scared that something might happen to me, even because I walk all of the time, so I don't know. Something might happen to me during that time. That's why I'm scared. You're scared of possible retaliation? Yeah, nothing further. Mr. Mendez, do you want to go first? Sure, yes, I just have a few questions. Mr. Gomez, when you were on the floor and hands were tied behind your back, yeah, do you remember if you were being spoken to in English or in Spanish? In English. Nobody ever spoke to you in Spanish? No. Do you speak Spanish? Yeah, I speak both. Do you know if Ms. Ramirez speaks Spanish? I don't remember. You've never spoken to her in Spanish? Yeah, actually, I have talked to her in Spanish. We mixed it like Spanglish. Okay, now there were two of your friends were in the house with you before anything else happened? Yeah. Just 1 second. You have to wait until he finishes his question because I don't have the ability to get two voices recorded at once. And I didn't understand what the rest of his question was or what your answer was because you were speaking at the same time. Please ask that again, counsel. Okay, you had two friends with you, and you had two friends with you in the house before anybody unknown to you came into the house. Is that correct? Yes. And that was Mr. Santana. He was the one, and then Mr. Rodriguez was the second one. I don't know whether the other person's, I don't know his last name or the name. You don't know the first or the last name? No. Do you know if that guy, though, he's a mixed martial artist? Do you know that much? That's what Jose told me, that he knows how to fight. That's all I know. Did you see him fighting with the two males that came into the residence, the house, the two males you didn't know? No, you didn't see. I didn't see nothing else after when I got hit and everything while I was on the ground. That was it. I didn't see nothing else. So you didn't see Mr. Santana fighting earlier? No, but nobody came to help you fighting? Is that what you're saying? No, you were on your own. Yes. Did you hear anybody call out to you like Mr. Santana or anyone else say, hey, Juan, are you okay? No, nobody said that. No. Did anybody call out to you for help like, help me out there? No, nothing like that. Okay. Do you remember the first time you talked to the police officer? You talked to police officers 2 different times. Is that right? Actually, yeah, I talked once with the police officers, and the second time I was with the detective. A detective? Yeah. Was it this detective sitting at the table? Yes. Now, the first time you told the police officer who came to your house, you told them that you didn't know. Actually, hang on. You told them that you could not even see the faces of anybody who came into your house. Yes, I did. You told them they were wearing black ski masks. No, I didn't tell them that. You don't remember saying that the suspects were both wearing black ski masks with only the eye holes cut out? I didn't say that. You didn't say that? No. Okay, and you didn't say that the suspects, the males, both males were talking in English and in Spanish? You didn't say that either? No, they were. When they were talking, they were like only English, but like with a thick voice on them, like, you know, how gangsters talk between them like that. Okay. When you say thick voice, do you mean a thick accent? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. And then do you remember telling the officer that you had used marijuana that day? I don't remember about that part. Were you under the influence of marijuana on that day? No. That officer asked you if you owed any money to anyone regarding drug sales? Yeah, he asked me that, and I told him straight out that I don't. You told him whenever you buy marijuana, you always pay for it? Yeah, because objection relevance sustained. Is there a motion to strike that? Yes, it will be stricken. Thank you. I have nothing further. Counsel, do you remember telling that officer that the suspects were wearing gloves? Yeah. Was that true or not? Yes, on that part, yes, they were. You just don't remember anything else about the ski masks? No. Now I want to move on. You talked to a detective a few days after you talked to that first police officer, right? Yes, the detective. I think it was the same time when I talked to him. I'm not sure. Okay, now when you talked to the detective, you didn't mention anything about the gloves to the detective, correct? I don't think I did. And you didn't mention anything about a ski mask to the detective? Yeah, on that part, yeah. You did mention ski masks? No, I told him no, that they didn't wear. Sorry. And even he asked me, do you owe them money? Tell me the truth. And I told him the truth, what was going on. So I told him, I told him the truth. Did you tell the first officer, are you saying that then that you had lied to the first officer? Yes, I did. You did. The only reason I did that because I was scared that something might happen. That's when I told the detective that they said that they would come back if I said anything, that they were going to kill me or do something to my family. That's when I didn't say nothing. Even though you had threatened, or they had threatened you that they would hurt you, you said you still called the police on that very same day, didn't you? Yes, I did. And you're sure it was in December, not November the 29th? I don't think it was that day. Nothing further. Counsel, directing your attention back to the first interview that you had with Officer Ross, isn't it true that you told Officer Ross that there were 2 suspects that broke into the house and robbed you? Did you tell him that? Yes, I did. And you indicated at the time that it happened that you were playing video games in front of the front room of the house when it happened, right? Yes, it did. Yes, I did. And you didn't tell him at that time that there were 2 other subjects with you? Actually, I did tell him that there were 2 other people with me. All right, so we're going to do our read back. All right. So the majority of that was read at 2:25. Okay. All right, so you're going to hear landslide, incipient, examination, physical, stabilized, observing. All right. And I'm dating this, so I know we've covered it. I'm going to read this first time at 2:25, and then I'll read it again at 200, and then at 180. This is plaintiff. Here we go. Did you make any subsequent inspections of that home after this first occasion? Yes. What is your opinion? My opinion is that there is some incipient landslide beneath and adjacent to the home. And do you have an opinion based upon your examination and inspection of the home as to whether this is causing the foundation of the home to be damaged? Yes. And what is your opinion? It is causing the foundation to be damaged. In what respect is it damaging the foundation? It is causing the foundation to be pulled downward and outward with respect to the house. And have you inspected the plans of this home? Have you inspected the foundational plans? I have inspected the plans. Do you have an opinion as to whether the landslide has in the past caused any physical damage to that portion of the home above the surface of the ground level? Yes. And what is your opinion? That it has caused damage to the portion above. Now, do you have an opinion as to whether this land movement or landslide has stabilized since the time of your first observing it to the time of your last observing it? Yes. And what is your opinion? It has not stabilized. All right, so we'll do it again at 200. Did you make any subsequent inspections of that home after this first occasion? Yes. What is your opinion? My opinion is that there is some incipient landslide beneath and adjacent to the home. And do you have an opinion based upon your examination and inspection of the home as to whether this is causing the foundation of the home to be damaged? Yes. And what is your opinion? It is causing the foundation to be damaged. In what respect is it damaging the foundation? It is causing the foundation to be pulled downward and outward with respect to the house. And have you inspected the plans of this home? Have you inspected the foundational plans? I have inspected the plans. Do you have an opinion as to whether the landslide has, in the past, caused physical damage to that portion of the home above the surface of the ground level? Yes. And what is your opinion? That it has caused damage to the portion above. Now, do you have an opinion as to whether this land movement or landslide has stabilized since the time of your first observing it to the time of your last observing it? Yes. And what is your opinion? It has not stabilized. All right, last time at 180. Did you make any subsequent inspections of that home after this first occasion? Yes. What is your opinion? My opinion is that there is some incipient landslide beneath and adjacent to the home. And do you have an opinion based upon your examination and inspection of the home as to whether this is causing the foundation of the home to be damaged? Yes. And what is your opinion? It is causing the foundation to be damaged. In what respect is it damaging the foundation? It is causing the foundation to be pulled downward and outward with respect to the house. And have you inspected the plans of this home? Have you inspected the foundational plans? I have inspected the plans. Do you have an opinion as to whether the landslide has in the past caused physical damage to that portion of the home above the surface of the ground level? Yes. And what is your opinion? That it has caused damage to the portion above. Now, do you have an opinion as to whether this land movement or landslide has stabilized since the time of your first observing it to the time of your last observing it? Yes. And what is your opinion? It has not stabilized. All right, so since we don't have any students here in our live class, what I want you to do is pick what selection you want to read back. You can pick all three if you want, and then you're going to go back and listen to that selection depending on which speed you listen to and compare it to your notes. Okay, so that, let's see here, we've got a couple more minutes. Let me see here. Go ahead and do just a couple more minutes, okay? All right, and we'll end this at 2:25, okay? On that occasion, on the first interview, you told Officer Ramos on the first interview with him that you were in the living room playing games and that Mr. Santana and his cousin was there. You told Officer Ross that? Yes. Objection compound. Yeah, it is compound and complex, and you can't all speak at once. I'll try again, Your Honor, directing your attention to the first interview that you had with regard to this incident, and that was with Officer Ross. Did you tell him that Mr. Santana and his cousin were present at that first interview? I think I did, but you're not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, did you tell him that ultimately you ended up on the ground and that altercation with those individuals, with who? Someone who came into the door, you testified, attacked you. Did you end up on the ground after that attack? Yes, I did. And were your hands zip tied by one of the individuals, one of the male individuals? Yes, that came. And after your hands were zip tied, were you laying on your stomach with your face facing the ground? Yes. And if I understood your testimony correctly, you said that they took some type of cloth that's used to tie up the curtains to blindfold you. Is that an accurate description? Yes, but what they took, it was you could see through it. Okay, but they did wrap it around your eyes? Yeah, but I still got a chance to see through. You could see through it. Did that affect your vision in any way? No. So it was a thin material? Yeah. That you could look through? Yeah. And did you tell Officer Ross that it happened in the first interview that you had with the police? That what happened? Did you tell Officer Ross that a cloth was wrapped around your eyes while you were laying on the ground? Did you tell him that? I think I did. Objection, relevance. Your Honor, I have a right to test his memory and his recollection. It's hard to say if I did or not. Hold on, the judge has to rule. Overruled. All right, so we'll go ahead and stop there. So that whole take was at 2:25. All right, so that concludes our High Speeds Live class. Have a wonderful evening.